Hello everybody and welcome to another video of Grim Dawn Ashes of Malmeth. I hope everybody's having a wonderful holiday season and I hope everybody's being safe. So before I get into today's video, I would like to mention that this character is not fully optimized yet. I still feel like I need to work around with the devotion a little bit, maybe the attribute points, possibly swapping around some skill points, but for what it is right now, it's working really good. I got this character to 100 last night. This is my Starcaller Druid, and it effectively kind of plays very similar to pet build, not exactly the same, but similar, which it lets you basically drop out a lot of damage while you can move around and kite and consistently deal damage, which is really nice, and I'll show you that here in a second. So let's go over the skills, I'll go over items, and then we'll go over devotion. It'll be kind of a quick skim over, just to give everybody an idea of what I'm doing. So we'll start with the Shaman side. 1 point into Mogdrogan's Pact, as we all know, bonus health regeneration and a little bit of physical damage, but obviously that's not very important for us, and I have Giant's Blood connected to that. Really what's more important from this is the Heart of the Wild and the Oak Skin. This is going to give you huge health, poison bleed duration reduction. This is going to give you armor pierce resist, which is really nice, and increase the health regeneration from any source that you obtain. I actually like that quite a bit. Thought about maybe maxing this, or pushing it up a little higher maybe, because this one's maxed, and the bonus armor is definitely nice, especially for a caster. Grasping Vines 1 point, Entangling Vines 1 point. I still stand by this for a 1-pointer. I think it's a super good CC ability. Obviously we're not taking this for the damage, but the ability to root enemies to the ground is very effective and procs pretty consistently. And it works really well in synergy with your Trojan Sky Shard. So I'll talk about that here in a second. And then I have Twin Fang equipped to that from the devotion. So Twin Fang, oddly enough, gives you really decent healing whenever it procs this, and it's really good. I'll show you here in a second. Wind Devil, I think you could either increase this all the way or take points out of it, depending on what you want to do. I basically just had extra points, and so I threw them into the Wind Devil. You don't get a whole lot of damage stat boost out of this. Obviously, the main damage type is physical. We're not stacking any physical, but you do boost the electrocute damage, which is not too bad. Plus, you have a chance to impair aim of enemies, which is not too bad as well. But I might pump it higher. I might take some points out. We'll see, depending on what I want to do. Raging Tempest, I only went 12 out of 12 on this because the percent elemental resistance reduction doesn't go past 35 past 12, so I just left it where it's at. Maxed out Maelstrom. So this build will be doing Electrocute, Lightning, Frostburn, and Cold damage, but the primary two sources of damage are going to be Lightning and Electrocute. Not to say that the Cold damage and Frostburn damage is anything to laugh at, it's still really good damage, but I think the Lightning and Electrocute is just a little bit stronger. Maxed out Storm Totem, so again we're going to be dropping Storm Totems on the ground, they're going to be zapping enemies, we're going to be running around and dodging them. And we have Blizzard connected to that, as well as Hand of Altos connected to this. So this actually reduces enemy element resistance as well from the devotion tree, and procs a lot of bonus lightning damage and electrocute damage. So this kind of gives your tornadoes the ability to, you know, get that lightning damage that it kind of lacks, obviously, from the Wind Devil skill here. But yeah, everything works really well together, a lot of AoE, a lot of damage, and we'll be looking at that soon. 1 point into Escandras, 1 into Overload. You don't necessarily have to put a point into Overload. You probably could get away with not doing that. It just gives you a little bit of an elemental damage increase, which isn't too bad for a 1 point in my opinion, and you know, it boosts your overall damage. So that's why I did it. Definitely want to max out elemental balance. So on the Shaman side, I did not max the tree all the way down on the mastery bar, and if you do decide to do that, you can take Stormcaller's Pact, and you'll get a bunch of bonus crit damage, which is really nice. However, I think the alternative is better, which I'm going to show you here in a second. But due to that lack of crit damage, you can max this, and you get some bonus crit damage from this, which is really nice. 12 out of 12 on Mirror Velocities. This is really good, and anything past 12, I noticed the cooldown doesn't change. It stays at 9, so I decided that was probably high enough. This is with plus the skills, obviously. And then you have Maybin's Sphere of Protection. This is 14 out of 12. The reason why I did pump this up and max it as high as I could is because the total damage modifier used to be minus 8% total damage from your character, and it dropped down to 6 when you pumped it to 14. So you actually gain 2% damage back while getting a 20% damage absorption, which is pretty cool. I thought that was pretty useful and neat. 3 out of 10 on the conversion. I've considered maybe putting this higher. This is really nice CC reduction overall for your character, and it's very, very important in some situations, so we'll see what I do with that. 14 out of 12 on inner focus. Max out as high as you can, in my opinion. Bonus spirit, bonus offensive ability by percentage, which is really nice. 26 out of 16 on Trojan Sky Shard. So this is at 26, but I have a ton of plus skills to this. So I actually was able to drop a lot of points out of this because it caps at 26 and put them elsewhere, which was really awesome. I have 1 point into Frozen Core. This is simply just to proc the 2-second freeze, and it's 2 second no matter what rank this is, so just 1 point for that. And then I maxed out Shattered Star. As you can see, Shattered Star gives your Trojan Sky Shard a bonus 54% crit damage, as well as, you know, a lot of lightning damage and stuff. So this, on top of this, you actually end up getting a lot of crit damage out of this ability, and it hits really hard. 1 point into Nullification. Really good skill for 1 point. It can debuff enemies, it can remove negative effects from you, it can do a lot of cool things. So, you know, say you're fighting an enemy and he's got a shield on and he's not taking any damage, or, you know, he's obviously doing something to make him durable. You can throw this on him, remove it, and you'll just do a ton more damage to him. Or vice versa. Let's say you got a bunch of dots and burning and, you know, slows on you and all this stuff. You can throw this under your feet, directly under you, and remove all those negative effects from you. It has saved my life many a time. So the final thing in the tree that I grabbed, and I did max out the mastery bar all the way on Arcanist, is Star Pact. So Star Pact, as you can see, gives you bonus cold, lightning, frostburn, and electrocute by 210%, and that's a lot of bonus damage. And then you can see it gives you 15% skill cooldown reduction. So the difference between the two is this one basically gives you a lot of bonus crit damage and a little bit of lightning, and then yeah, so it gives you a little bit of frostburn and electrocutes, and basically you're gonna crit harder. This skill here overall makes you do more damage, period, and lets you spam more. So in my opinion, I think that's more important because that also works with all of your abilities. So the cooldown works with every spell that you can cast, which I like quite a bit. Alright, so that's the skill setup. Let's go over the items. I'm just gonna kind of skim over them. You guys can take a look at them. Pause the video if you need. I found that the other day. This is really nice. I'd love to find the rest of the other set. Mythical Eastern Robes, Mythical Eastern Laggards. I had the previous versions of these, but I found Mythicals, which is really nice because these actually come with physical resistance on them, and that's huge. Really, really big for the Druid class, for any caster for that matter. Here's my Eye of the Storm, Phantom Thread Girdle. Again, I might change some of this around. Obviously, everything is subject to change based off of what I do find. Using some greens with chance to proc abilities. So this I got from Moosalok the other day, and it was actually pretty good. It rolled pretty well, and you can see it gives 3 to Trojan Sky Shard, and gives decent resist, health, electrocute damage, lightning damage. There's the offhand I'm using. Rings, helm, which I do need a new hat, and then the amulet. So as you can see on this character right now, I have almost 3,000 offensive ability, and that's huge. My chance to crit is really high, and that's very effective on this character. You definitely want to pump that as high as you can. So for devotion, this is what I'm using currently. Got a point here, and like I said, this is not optimal. It needs to be worked around a little better, I think. But you can see I have the Blizzard here. That does percent main hand damage as well, which is real nice. And I'm still leveling some of these skills up. Took this. This obviously for offensive ability. 3 points into Giant's Blood. I'm a huge fan of Giant's Blood. Very, very good skill. And then I actually ended up grabbing all the way over here to Whirlpool, which is real nice. And then I got the Hand of Ultus. But yeah, that's about it. Again, I'll work around with this a little better, try to optimize it a little more. Alright, so let's get into the fun, interesting thing about my videos. Hopefully it's fun and interesting, which is killing things. So, this is Ashes of Malmouth mobs, and you know, obviously these are the in-game mobs. But as you can see, I'm going to show you what kind of damage this build can do. It's pretty nuts. If anything gets up on you, you just pop your Mirror of Ferocities. But typically, you don't have too much of an issue with that. Unless they're bosses, of course, like Nemesis bosses. Those are another story. And this character can handle a lot of Nemesis bosses rather well. It's just you have to play smart and not get caught. The Maybin is one that I probably wouldn't recommend farming on this guy solo. Maybe in a group, definitely. In a group, this character shines real well if you're not being focused. But that's the whole idea of a mage. Typically, a mage, you know, you want to sit back and nuke everything. But as you can see, no issue at all. Just kind of ripping through everything. And that goes double for any previous content that we had. So like Steps of Torment, stuff like that. This build just absolutely annihilates. Yeah, you can see nothing's really standing a chance. This is without potions running or anything, which is a pretty big deal and something to keep in mind. You know, this is just my pure raw damage with my buffs, and that's it. Which is pretty cool. Like I said, this character is a lot of fun. These tornadoes, you just throw them down, they move around and they'll seek out enemies. They have like home seeking on them, which is really nice. And then you can drop totems. And totems will sit there and just keep shocking and electrocuting enemies, and then you just right click and spam Trojan Sky Shard. You know what, just for fun, let's go kill a boss in here. As we know, we have that little tri-boss at the end, little triple boss at the end. My last video, I fought it on my Kabbalist, and he shotgunned all my pets, so let's try it on the old Druid, see what we can do. And as you can see, like I was saying before, the Grasping Vines roots a lot of enemies in place, and it just makes it that much easier to land your Trojan Sky Shard. You know, you can either freeze an enemy, or you can root them in place when it procs. See that little, kind of looks like thorns going off. You know, like thorns are proccing. But it's actually your Grasping Vine rooting things in place. Try to get up here. So this build kind of works similar to, like I said, Pet in that sense. You know, you lay stuff down and just let it do damage. You want to kite stuff to those whirlpools, basically kite enemies into you. You don't really ever want to charge in and be the first to go through a doorway or anything. You always want to try to set up like a little siege tower defense kind of strategy, and just let all your procs and AoE do the work. Alright, so here we are. Again, as long as you play smart, just don't let bosses hit you, don't let anything nuke you, don't get out of position. If you get any debuffs on you, a substantial amount I should say, you want to try to, you know, remove those from yourself. If you start taking damage, or you think you're going to take damage, proc your Mirror of Ferocities. Which makes you take no damage for 3 seconds, which is real nice. All the procs going off, they're beautiful. Alright, so I'll proc the Mirror there, just to nuke that guy down real quick. And it's on a 9-second cooldown when it's at 12, rank 12, so. And again, I mean, look how safe this build is. You can just kind of run around and let all your damage do its work. Pretty cool, huh? So I mean, it's a fun build. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, and obviously I'll release more videos showing Nemesis boss fights, dungeons, and any requests you guys have. Obviously, I'll work on those as well. And I haven't forgotten the Crucible requests. I do plan on doing that. There's this little guy here. I don't know what he's up to. I haven't forgotten about the Crucible. I am working on that. Obviously, with the holiday season. Yeah, I'm a little more busy. And there's also something else I would like to ask as a favor from everybody. Recently, me and my wife, we got some bad news about our 11-month-old puppy. He has developed a very, very severe case of hip dysplasia, and it's coming on set pretty strong. So we took him to the vet the other day and we got x-rays, and we found this information out. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, anyone has to donate, but in the description below, I'm going to leave a GoFundMe for our dog, because he is going to need a surgery to improve his quality of life. And the alternative is we have to put him down, and we really don't want to do that. So we are asking that if anybody can, you know, if you can donate. If not, please at least share the link and share the page with other friends and people you may know, and it will help us out greatly. And we can't thank everybody enough. And you know, I really appreciate you guys watching my content, like always. And you know, we just, unfortunately, we're not made of money, just like a lot of people are. So we kind of need help with this, and you know, any help at all would be fantastic and greatly appreciated. So there's that. I think that's covers everything in this video that I want to talk about. And yeah, as always, thank you for taking time to watch my videos. If you guys have any questions, do not be afraid to ask. I played with somebody just the other day in my YouTube comments, and we loot farmed together, and I gave him some items that he needed that I found, you know. So, you know, if anybody wants to play, let me know. Hook it up. And you know, I just like to help people out. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Everybody take care. Again, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.